In today's video, I'm going to cover the installation process for an UpTop Overland AFS Retrax bed rack for an all-new 2022 Toyota Tundra. If you want to learn more about this rack system, I've got an informational video linked in the upper right-hand corner and a link to the product available in the description below. Before we get to the installation, I want to give you a quick overview of what comes in the packaging. We've got 6 towers, 3 for each side of the truck. Those are going to connect to our 3 crossbars. We've got body armor for each side of the rack. This will need to be assembled. And then because my truck doesn't have the tonneau cover yet, this right here is a bracket that will attach to the bed rail. So this right here is going to attach to the bed rail, and then this portion right here will attach to the towers. They also include a ratchet and bit set, which is convenient. We've got thread locker, cool UpTop Overland sticker, and then we've got all of the hardware. For the first step, we're going to take 3 of our legs or towers, as well as one side of the body armor, which comes in 2 pieces and comes together in the middle. Go ahead and set this aside real quick. We're going to need our bag of hardware labeled 9000.1 armor to 6 leg, our H5 Allen wrench, and thread locker. Next, we're going to take the legs and we're just going to space them out here. And then we're going to take half the hardware. You'll see it's got 2 holes here, 1 hole here. We're going to line these 2 holes up with the 2 holes on this tower, and this hole is going to line up with the bottom hole on this tower in the middle. Next, we're going to take our bag of hardware. We're going to take out 1 of our bolts and a washer. We're going to take the bolt, put the washer in, and this is just going to pass through the armor here and into the tower. And then this nut's going to go on the bottom, but we've got to put the thread locker on first. So we're going to go ahead and just get all of these bolts and washers lined up first, and then we'll do the thread locker and the bolts last. So do those 3, and then same thing on this side. Again, we've got 1 hole that lines up here in the middle, and then 2 on the outside. And then once I put this last one through, we're going to take the thread locker and you're just going to put a little bit around those threads. And then we're going to take the nuts and tighten them up on the inside. Now that all 6 bolts and washers are pushed through, I've got the nuts on hand tight on this side. I've already tightened the middle and that side. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a 13mm socket wrench. We're going to take our H5 Allen wrench, and we're going to get it partially tight, but we want to leave a few of those threads so we can put that thread locker on. So we'll do that right before we do the last little tightening. And then now we've got just a few threads left. We're going to take our thread locker here. This is basically to prevent these from coming loose during vibrations. So if you're off-roading or even just normal driving, those constant vibrations could cause some of these screws to come loose. So we're just going to put a little bit of this on the threads, and then we're going to tighten up the rest of the way. There we go. We got all 6 of those tight. Now we're on to the next step. Next, we're installing these adapters that connect the bed rails with the legs of the rack. You'll see it's got 2 bolt heads here. These are going to go through these holes right here, and we want to position it so that it can rest on the bed sides. So put it on like that. And then the hardware that came with these doesn't have a label on it like some of the other hardware, but all we've got is a washer and a 13mm nut that's going to go on each of these bolt heads. So we'll start by getting those on hand tight. And then again, thread locker is ideal here because I'm hoping to get a tonneau cover pretty soon. I'm not sure that I'm going to put that on because I don't expect to leave the rack in this configuration for too long. But if you're planning on leaving it or doing any off-roading, probably be a good idea to put that thread locker on for this step. So I'm going to get these hand tight. This is a step where a ratcheting crescent wrench would be nice. Unfortunately, I don't have any. Really need to invest in some. And so I'm going to just use a standard 13mm ratcheting wrench here. Just a really tight space to try to do this. So it's going to take a lot of very small rotations to tighten these. Now I'm not going to tighten these all the way because I do want to have a little bit of flexibility to adjust this bracket once I get it positioned on the truck in case I need to make any minor adjustments. So we'll get it positioned on there and then we'll tighten it up. Once you've installed the first one, go ahead and install the additional two. This next step's not part of the installation, but I've got these little foam pads that I'm just going to put on the underside of these two bolt heads so that when it rests on the plastic on the bed sides, it doesn't leave any scuffs or scratch marks. Next, we're ready to connect the rack to the bed rail. So we're going to first take off this plastic clip at the back, just push in, slide it out. We'll set it aside. And then we've got three of these that we're going to slide in to the bed rail. One that's going to come up to the front of the bed rail. One that's going to go to the middle. And then one that's going to go at the back. Next, we're going to bring over the rack, set it on the bed sides here, kind of line it up with those inserts. And we've got a hardware bag labeled 9000.6. It says Trust a Cargo Track 6-leg on it. In there, you're going to find a number of these bolts, a locking washer, which we're going to insert first, and then a regular washer. And then we're going to take that, and we'll start by just getting these hand tight. Send it through, and then screw it into that insert. So let's go hand tight for now. Do the same with the other 5 of these. And then of course, before we fully tighten either side of the truck, we're going to make sure that they line up and that they're measured equal distant on both sides so that our crossbars also line up. And then we're going to take these inserts at the back and insert those back on as well. Our next step is to install the load bars, and for this step you're going to need our 3 load bars. We're also going to need the end caps. They come in 2 baggies. You'll see that on the end caps there's an UpTop Overland logo. You're going to want that facing up. I've already installed the cap on this end. Wait to do the other end until you've got your inserts in place. These little inserts come in another unlabeled baggie. And you're going to slide in an insert on this top strip here over on this end, as well as one on this side. And then on the back side, we're going to do the same thing to line up with the slots on either end of our load towers there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this insert and just slide it in here. I've already slid all the others into place. And then next, we're going to need our hardware bag, 9003. This one says load bar to 6-leg. What we're going to do for this step is we've got a bolt, we've got a locking washer that we're going to slide onto there, and then another washer. And then we're just going to take this load bar, line it up with those slots, and then we've got those inserts that we've got to line up with the slot here on the top. I go ahead and screw in this by hand. Got that one in. Do the same thing on this end. And once you've got the first 2 in, it's pretty easy because then the bar can just kind of hold itself while you install the others. And you'll see that we've got 3 bolts that are going to install on this side, 3 on the back side, and then 3 on the front side here, as well as another 3 on the back side here. Now that these 12 bolts are hand tight, I'm going to install the last load bar, and then I'm just going to go through and tighten everything. Now that it's installed, we can kind of square things up and get it all nice and tight, and then we're going to be ready to install our attachments. Next, we're installing the traction board mounts. You're going to need 2 of these, and then your bag of hardware labeled 9005. This one says Trust Tracks to Armor on it. And then you're also going to need your H5 Allen wrench, as well as a 13mm socket wrench. And we've got this hole here and this hole here that we're going to line up with. And then for hardware, you're going to take a bolt, locking washer, regular washer, and then a nut on the back side. So we'll go ahead and insert this through the top hole, and then again this hole and that hole. So line it up here. Take the nut on the back side. Again, we'll get it hand tight so we can get the second one on there. That on. Then we're going to take our socket wrench on the back side here, Allen wrench on the front side. We're going to go ahead and tighten these up. And then the installation is going to be exactly the same on the back. Our bracket is going to face this direction though now, and we're lining up with this hole and this hole. Same installation with the hardware. So there you go, that covers the installation process of the UpTop Overland AFS Retrax bed rack. Again, a link to this product is in the description below if you want to check it out. If you enjoyed today's video or if it was helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And for more videos of the all-new Tundra, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching.